Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature, and today we've got a very obscure kit for you. We have the Hogan from Hogan Oni, which is a pretty obscure OVA series that I don't even know if it came out in the US. But the fact that we've got a nice, very organic looking mech is something that we don't see very often. And, well, you know, I'm absolutely for it. Very Devilman-ish, very almost like Demon Prince. So I'm kind of excited about that. Something new and something different. I haven't been too disappointed in terms of the Moderoid kits yet. Usually the biggest issue I've had is with either too many decals or needing some serious paint applications. But then on the other hand, there will be kits where there's absolutely no issues and I don't have to do anything on my end at all. So I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. I gotta say, if anything, the Moderoid stuff is doing a great job of continuing to feed my nostalgia for the late 80s and 90s with just the obscure stuff that they keep releasing, so I can't complain in that regard. Okay, inside... That's a new way of packaging. I don't recall seeing them done like that before. Let's see what we got. So the tail thing, whip, Epion thing, looks to be pretty much just a couple of joints on it, not too many. I was afraid we're going to have to run the wires through it and do each segment, so I'm happy to see that. I'm not even sure what color that is. Kind of a tannish purple, bright red, more whips. I think there's one on each side, so that's not that surprising. More gray stuff, red parts, more red, black pieces for the joints. And finally, at the very bottom of the box, what I'm always searching for, the manual. Let's get all this out of the way. And it's sealed. Let me rephrase that. It was sealed. Let's take a look closer at it. I mean, it's a neat design. It's got a bit of that Obari look to it. I can't think of the guy's name. We just had the book that it came from, in fact. So everything is straight up in Japanese. I want to point out that there are absolutely no stickers whatsoever. So you can see here, the tail wing things are very simple in their construction, just one joint in there. But again, it's the organic look to it that it's not something that we see very often, so I'm kind of surprised to see that. Anyway, I'm going to get it built, and I want to see how it turns out, and if you want to find out too, sit tight. So, we got the Daimaju all put together here, and I gotta say it was a pretty simple overall construction. The current lighting situation is not doing me any favors here, but it is a pretty dark figure overall. There were a couple, and I mean very few, actual pre-painted parts. I didn't get a chance to realize that when I first unboxed it, mostly in the face. But the kit itself is actually pretty bare bones. Not to say that it doesn't have quite a unique look to it. I really, really like that back set of, I don't know, spikes. There's a couple spots that could definitely benefit from some extra coloring, mostly in the head section. There is that spot right up. Ooh, well, let's just do that then, since you want to come off. So right above the eyes there's a little kind of veiny section that should be colored in, but that's about it. Surprisingly, though, is the fact that there are no optional extra pieces included with this guy. Not even an extra pair of hands. I was really surprised about that. It's kind of odd. I'm just really kind of taken aback by that. That's something we usually see with these kits, you know, at least like an open pair of claws or something. The big booster spikes on his back, unfortunately, do make him a little bit top-heavy, make him like to kind of lean over. I'm going to make sure he's got a good center of gravity. One of the interesting things on his back here is he's got this little kind of fibers that help kind of move up and down with him, depending on how he's bent. You know, there's a pretty decent range of movement. You can hear he's got pretty stiff joints, at least for now. Hopefully they stay that way. But I mean, it's just a very different look than I'm used to seeing with model kits of this type. We don't get a lot of plastic organics, maybe outside of like Tyranid stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, Tyranid players would probably have a field day with something like this. Size-wise, it's probably close to a 1/100th. You can see here with my typical 1/144th Gundam. I mean, it's about up to his chest. It's not gigantic like some of the other companies out there, but it's almost what I want to say like a typical Moderoid size, if that makes sense. I mean, about like a 7-8 inches roughly. I mean, honestly, if you had a big enough base, slap one on it like a Titan size, not Titan, Imperial Knight or something, and you got yourself an interesting looking, big bio. I forget what the Tyranid, man, I can't speak English today. Tyranid stuff is called. I mean, if you really wanted to paint him up in, your Hive fleet colors, that might be kind of interesting. But I gotta say, cool little kit. Makes me hopeful that someday we're gonna see a Cybernetics Guardian kit from Moderoid. But considering the rate at which they are putting out so many different things for, plastic kits from so many different random series that included mecha at some point or another, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we really see them plumb the depths of, various 80s and 90s OVAs, or just stuff that Koichi Ohata designed, because I'll be more than happy with that anyways. So, who knows? Who knows what the future will hold? I can guarantee this, though, there will probably be plenty more Moderoid kits, at least in the future on this channel, because they're a lot of fun. It's just tracking them down for a reasonable price is the biggest challenge. And unfortunately, when you get into some of these very small, niche, creations that maybe not many people have seen outside of Japan in the first place, it does become a bit of a challenge to get a hold of. But I'm glad I was able to find him here in the States. Definitely a fun one. Somewhat reasonably priced for a Moderoid kit. So, do take some look and care in your shopping, and hopefully you'll be able to find some good deals too. But considering just the sheer breadth of variety of models that Good Smile and Moderoid have put out at this point, there's probably going to be something of interest if you grew up watching a lot of these types of shows as well. So with that said, then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Yeah, it would be a cool Tyranid model. Bye-bye.